Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have something incredibly cool to take a look at. This is something I've actually been working on for quite some time. We have a brand new Passion Charger release, and this is the Passion Charger Spinosaurus. Now this is part of a larger diorama, which we will get to eventually, but right now this is what we're going to take a look at, is just the Spinosaurus here, and all of the extras that come with it, because we actually have quite a few fish that are a part of this set. But again, this would come unassembled, unpainted if you purchase it, and then you would have to build it up and paint it. And I built mine. I gave it a nice gloss coat because it's technically supposed to be swimming. So if we move these guys over a little bit and we kind of reposition this, you can kind of see what I'm talking about as the Spinosaurus is swimming along. And it has a really cool, really dynamic pose. And I gave it a paint job that I was hoping looked flashy enough without being too overly flashy. I mean, I don't know if I completely achieved that. I feel like maybe it's a little bit too flashy, but I'm not too sure. I was pretty happy with it regardless, and I'm actually psyched to see the entire thing put together. We also have some fish that are a part of this set. You can see again, we've got 3 fish there. We've got another fish over here, and you can't see him right now, but there's also a little turtle here that is a part of this set. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to jump to a closer look at this and check it out from there. So we'll begin with the very first fish, and that's what's cool about this set, is you actually have quite a bit going on with it. On top of the Spinosaurus, you have quite a bit of like marine life. Now this fish is an Onchopristis, and it's a pretty cool looking version of one, honestly. I think they did a very good job of sculpting it out in a way where you can kind of see, like, you know, movement within the fish. You could see it actually swimming along. I gave it a paint scheme that I felt like looked potentially natural for the fish. I feel like it turned out okay overall, and I'm definitely pretty happy with it. And my camera apparently isn't because it doesn't want to focus on it. But again, as per usual, when it comes to a sculpt from Passion Charger, you can see again, it is super, super nicely detailed. You've got a nice curve in the tail as you lead out, so you can see obviously that the fish is swimming along. But on top of that fish, we also have, and I apologize if I say the name incorrectly, but the Mawsonia. Now this is a species of coelacanth, and obviously I didn't go with the coelacanth paint job. I chose to go with something that was a little bit different, something that I came up with on my own, because this is a prehistoric fish that's extinct. We don't know exactly what it looked like. As far as I'm aware anyway, we don't know the exact coloration of it, so I chose to give it kind of a pretty cool looking paint scheme that I felt like, again, turned out pretty nicely. And I don't paint fish very often, so I don't know how good of a job I've done on any of the fish included in this set. But again, you can see when it comes to a fish, a Mawsonia, it is gorgeous, like really, really nicely detailed. And you can see as we kind of turn it there, let the light hit it, you can really pick up on how nice the scales and everything look on the fish. And of course, I gave all of the fish a nice gloss coat because they are, of course, in the water swimming, so you would want them to have a glossy look. And again, there are 2 more as well, and I gave them all that, you know, same greenish color scheme because, of course, they're all the same species of fish, so they should look pretty similar overall, and I was really quite happy with the way these guys turned out. Again, definitely something that I don't do very often is paint fish, so really happy with the way that these guys turned out, and I'm actually beyond excited to get these up onto the base and, you know, create the entire scene, the entire diorama. And what else is really cool, and you may not even notice it, is the fact that these aren't exact clones of each other. He has sculpted each and every one out. It might be a little bit hard to pick up on, but you can see like the distance of the mouth being open is slightly different. The positioning of the fins, even though it looks very similar, is slightly different and stuff. So there are definitely some differences between the different fish. So no laziness when it comes to Passion Charger ever. And then on top of that, we also have a turtle. Now, I didn't give this guy any kind of a gloss coat or anything because I was thinking about leaving him up on the shore so he's kind of basking rather than swimming in the water, and I just felt like that would be a fun way to display the turtle. And I gave him the coloration of a spotted turtle. If you are familiar with the spotted turtle, I chose to give it that kind of a paint scheme, and yet again I was pretty happy with the way it turned out considering how small it is. And again, I also don't paint turtles very often. I felt like it turned out pretty nice. I did give it a little bit of like alternate color, maybe not exact to the spotted turtle. This would be a turtle, maybe not an exact species of spotted turtle we see nowadays, because this one would have been alive a very, very long time ago, and I don't know how much it would have changed over time. Maybe not much at all, who knows, but Again, I'm no turtle professional, I don't really know, but I felt like it turned out pretty nice, again, just like the fish did. And then, of course, the star of the show when it comes to this set is the Spinosaurus, and you can see that the Spinosaurus looks awesome. Trying to get a nice close shot where we can see it without it smacking the camera because of the positioning of the body. As we get closer here, it starts to kind of smack the camera. But you can see the head of the Spinosaurus looks really good. We've got that nice crest up there on the top. You can see the mouth is sculpted in an open position. The Spinosaurus, again, is kind of reacting to the Carcharodontosaurus that is up above it, so it's sort of surprised and I guess letting out some form of a vocalization. And you can see that the teeth and everything look really good. The tongue's up, again showing the fact that it is letting out a vocalization, and definitely is a bit surprised. I don't know if we can maybe get a little closer here. No, it doesn't look like it's going to be possible. It's just too awkward looking, but if we get a nice closer look here at the opposing side of the head, if my camera would focus on it, if we just kind of isolate the head, you can get a pretty good idea again of what the skin texture looks like. You can see the nostrils right there, again the crest, the eye is nice and small right there, the mouth again is in an open position with the teeth obviously shown off as the dinosaur lets out a vocalization. As you move back here into the body, you can see the ear right there back behind the head, and then moving back a little bit further, you can see a nice long neck for our Spinosaurus, along with lots of really nice looking skin texture, scale, detail, almost like some small scoots moving along the spinal column here, as well as some scoots and osteoderms and stuff moving along the course of the body. The Spinosaurus as well has been given a gloss coat, so it again looks wet. I wanted it all to look like it's wet because the Spinosaurus is actually swimming currently, so it should definitely have that wet look. And you can see the underside here of the sculpt looks great. The throat is really nicely elaborated there. You have some skin wrinkles and stuff as you move down. This is the first time I've ever seen a Spinosaurus from Passion Charger, so it's really, really exciting. But as you continue to move down, you can again see leading down into the body, we have the arms sculpted in a way where it kind of looks like it's positioning itself, like it had just spun around, again surprised because of the Carcharodontosaurus up above it. And you can see the skin texture looks phenomenal as you move down the course of the arms down into those hands. And you can also see again the muscle definition, the elbows present. You've got some nice skin wrinkles right there back behind the arm. And then again the fingers look really good. You've got some nicely sculpted nails. Obviously again every finger is in a slightly different position as the Spinosaurus is trying to turn itself around. You can kind of make out the muscle definition there in the chest, and you can also see the undersides of the feet. And what's cool is on the rear legs you can see that there's webbing in between the toes, and that's really cool. And then as you lead up here into the sail, you can continue to see that the sail has all kinds of really nice, really fine detail. I gave it kind of a flashier look as far as the coloration goes in the sail because, you usually expect at least somewhat of a flashy look in the sail of a Spinosaurus. Maybe a little bit too flashy I might have went with this one, but again, I was pretty happy with the way it turned out. Looking back on it, maybe I should have applied some darker tones to it, but I'm almost always indecisive about my paint jobs. But as you move down, you continue to see again more of those kind of osteoderms and stuff moving along right here at the bottom of the sail, moving along the bottom of the sail. And I did apply a lot of color variation to it. I don't know how good it's picking up on camera, but I gave it a lot of different color throughout, again, aside from the designing of the black. But as you move through, you can get a really good look again at the stomach as well as the fine detail of the stomach until you reach back here into the rear leg. You can see how the leg is extended. Again, the webbing of the feet definitely pushing through the water to turn our Spinosaurus around. Those toes look great. The nails look great. Everything looks awesome as far as that sculpt goes. You can see all the different positioning. And I love how you can see actually like the wrinkling of the webbing in the feet. He's very, very nicely captured that as well. But again, up here, you can see how the sail, leads down and comes to an end. You can also pick out the muscle definition of the thigh and the calf moving down, the kneecap right there. And then as you lead out into the tail, we have that classic at this point paddle-like tail that you see Spinosaurus consistently recreated with nowadays. And again, lots of really nice movement shown in the tail itself. You can see all kinds of wrinkling and creasing as you move out. Definitely a very, very cool, very dramatic sort of positioning for the tail of the Spinosaurus. And I continued to give it, again, all of that really nice patterning, which I actually really like. But again, also a lot of color variation in general as you move through. And there's also kind of like a softer sort of scaling running along the underside. And if we take a look at the initial side, it's a little harder again to get in here because the dinosaur is bent in this position. You can see the neck looks really good. Again, we have the nice turn toward us. We'd probably get a better look at it if we could get in there a little bit easier, but it's just a little tough to really get in there and show it to you guys. But as you move back into the body, you can see the entire Spinosaurus is kind of bent and folded in this direction. You've got the arm, again, really nicely sculpted, again, pushing through the water so it could position itself to spin around and see the Carcharodontosaurus. You can also see the rear leg is kind of pushed up into the stomach, so you can see the skin wrinkles and stuff right there. The tail is smacking the camera currently, but you can see all the skin wrinkles and everything right there as that leg is pushing into the body. The knee again is nicely shown off, and you again have some nice muscle definition in the thigh as well as the calf. You can kind of make out the calf muscle there bulging, and again the nice webbing in between the toes of the rear leg. And then we lead out, again, actually you can see the sail, and you can also see the nice bend in the sail. You can see how the sail itself is kind of folded and bending, which looks really cool. And then as we lead out into the tail, again, all sorts of curves and all kinds of really cool bending and positioning going on with that tail as the Spinosaurus, again, is startled so abruptly as it was fishing. But definitely an incredibly cool Spinosaurus. Definitely one of the coolest, most dynamic looking Spinosaurus I think I have in my collection when it comes to the pose. Hopefully the paint job looks good. Hopefully it looks natural, sort of, even though it's a bit flashier. Again, I really hope you guys like that. But this will be really cool to see again once we have everything put together. And then we've got the base itself, and the base here is meant to kind of give us that underwater sort of a, I don't know if it's a riverbed, a lake bed, exactly what it is, but it's obviously under the water, and you can see that I've kind of painted it out to give it all sorts of variation of color. But on top of that, you can see all kinds of like rocky formations down here under the water. You can also see a lot of really nice texturing to the earthy areas, and I think he's captured the general appearance for what you would see on the underside of, you know, a lake, a prehistoric lake or something quite nicely. There's also a little peg here that you put your Spinosaurus on to display it. I'm probably going to glue mine on once I get to that point, but, you know, I haven't gotten there yet. But you can again see all of the rock formation, all of the earthy texturing and everything looks incredible. Definitely to me looks pretty much exactly like what I would expect to see on, you know, the bottom of a lake or a river or something like that. So really hyped to get all of this put together. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and get some sizes for this model. Now, as far as sizes go, for the base, roughly you are looking at, push it back a little bit, from one side to the other, I'd say around 9.5 inches or about 24 centimeters, somewhere in that vicinity as far as a length. For a width, about 6.25 inches or around 16 centimeters. For the Spinosaurus, we're just going to lean him back there. Again, it's definitely at a pretty decent size scale-wise. It's about 1/35, I believe, is what this size range is for the entire set. But the Spinosaurus isn't really going to have much of a length because, of course, it's curled up so much. So lengthwise, you're looking at about 7.5 inches or around 19 centimeters. And height-wise, this is, of course, without it on the base, to the top of the sail, just shy of 6 inches or around the 15 centimeter mark. And of course, it's going to be up a little bit higher once it's actually applied to the base. The turtle is really small, so you're looking at about 1.25 inches or a little over 3 centimeters for our turtle. And then for our fish, you're looking at here about just shy of 5 inches or around 12.5 centimeters. And then for our relative of the coelacanth, you are looking at about 2 inches, maybe a little over or around 5 centimeters. And maybe we'll go ahead and get a height once it's actually on the base. I don't know how good of a height we're going to be able to get. So I got to get this in the right spot so I can apply the Spinosaurus to the base. So there we go. Now the Spino is on the base very nicely. And even though I said I was going to glue it, like you can see, I don't really need to. It does stay on there quite nicely. So the highest point is this area of the sail, about 7 inches or just shy of around 18 centimeters in height. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Spinosaurus from Passion Charger. And at 1/35 scale, again, you would expect a pretty decent size, and you can see it does have a pretty darn nice size. And honestly, the good thing about these models is you can actually purchase the Carcharodontosaurus, which we've already taken a look at individually, or you can purchase the Spinosaurus individually, or of course purchase both to create the full diorama. And you can see, again, with the Spinosaurus alone, it is awesome looking, like such an incredibly cool diorama that you can create with just the Spinosaurus. Again, no need to have the Carcharodontosaurus, but it definitely will look cooler with the addition of the Carcharodontosaurus. But because this is in such a unique position, I don't know that we can really get very many comparisons that are going to help us out too much. I'll bring in a few more of just like randoms, but I normally would do a bunch of comparisons with like Spinosaurus figures, but since the positioning of the Spino is in such, again, a curled up pose, I don't think it's really going to help out very much. So again, here are our usual randoms with the Safari Ltd U Tyrannus, the Schleich Diabloceratops, which is standing a little bit further forward from the Spino, and the Collect Day Deluxe Dimetrodon you can see over there to the right-hand side. And that should give you a pretty good idea, again, of a size of the Spinosaurus next to these figures. But for one final comparison, there is a Mattel Dilophosaurus and a Mattel Velociraptor next to our Spinosaurus here, just to iron out, again, one final comparison. I didn't really want to do too many because I don't think that they're going to help very much, but just to give you one final idea of a size, these two figures hopefully will help to give you that idea. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to assemble everything, and then we're going to take a look at it once it's actually fully assembled and the fish and everything are all put onto this entire scene. So here is the Spinosaurus set now completely put together, so you can get a pretty good idea basically of what everything looks like here. Once again, it's all applied. I tried to apply the fish in a way because there's no, as far as I could tell anyway, no specific way to do it. It's pretty much up to you. You just have those extras to apply to the set if you choose to. And I tried to apply them in some nice areas where it looks, like it makes sense. Like these fish here are all kind of swimming away from the Spinosaurus because why wouldn't you? You have a big giant Spinosaurus invading your area. You're going to want to kind of vacate that area. So that's why I have the fish kind of all leading out. And I believe that was the original idea of that kind of, the fish swimming away. I'm pretty sure that's what I had seen on Passion Charger's actual model that he had shown off originally. And you can again see the Spinosaurus is making a really nice turn, obviously because there is a Carcharodontosaurus up there above it, and it's kind of disturbing it. And you can also see that once you apply everything to the base, again, it all just comes together and creates one of the absolute coolest scenes I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, this is without question my favorite set from Passion Charger, which is pretty awesome because they always release amazing models. Like, I am just blown away with each and every release that Passion Charger comes up with, but this is, again, another phenomenal one. But it actually doesn't stop here, this isn't the end, because on top of this, it gets cooler, trust me. We actually have water. So we have like the top of the water here that's going to go around the Spinosaurus. So it looks like the water is, of course, over top of the Spino, and it's kind of submerged and just popping its head up out of the water in the upper part of the body. I think it actually goes something like that. So you can see the upper part of the body will be out of the water. But that's not the only part. So if you can recall back to my Carcharodontosaurus review, the Carcharodontosaurus had a base. Well, that base is now up on top of this, so there's like an extra large addition that you can put on it so that it extends the height quite drastically. Now, it also, and I had to apply this, of course, has more water to it. So what you basically are going to do, you can see here, we've got the earthy area here. The base for the Carcharodontosaurus is actually up here. Then we've got this little section here, which I've given, again, a nice gloss coat too to kind of give it that wet look. We've got the water leading out from the base. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply all the water here around the Spinosaurus, and then we're going to get a look at it from there. It'd be a little bit complicated, I think, to try to do it with the actual camera looking at it, because I really need to pay attention so I don't damage the model, because, again, it's a resin model. So I'll go ahead and I will apply all of this, and then we'll check it out from there. So here is the Spinosaurus model now with the water applied and looking really cool. Again, it honestly looks like legit water here. Passion Charger really has done a fantastic job on this as a whole. If we take a look here, we turn it and kind of take a look from up above, you can see again that pretty much every detail you would want to see, all the ripples, everything that you would expect to see when it comes to this Spinosaurus in the water moving around, is present on this model. So definitely an incredible addition to the Passion Charger line, definitely an incredible addition to the Carcharodontosaurus model, and definitely a huge recommendation from me for sure. So this brand new Passion Charger Spinosaurus model is phenomenal. Like, it's definitely one of my favorite models from Passion Charger so far. Not just because it's a Spinosaurus, and of course I love Spinosaurus. It's a very unique, very cool, very popular dinosaur, but also just because we have this beautiful image of the Spinosaurus swimming along, and you can basically see like the top of the water and then of course all the life underneath. So it really gives you like that overall feel of the scene taking place in real life. Like, it really puts you into the moment, really takes you into that setting, and delivers easily one of the coolest visuals I've ever seen on a dinosaur model. And of course, the fish themselves, they are sculpted to perfection, like absolutely gorgeous looking sculpts on the fish, and the riverbed or lake bed or whatever you'd like to call it, the base for the Spinosaurus, again, that is just as beautifully sculpted as the fish themselves. And again, just realism galore throughout every area of this model when it comes to all the extras, including the little turtle that you have to, apply to the base, or you could put it in the water, or you could put it up where the Carcharodontosaurus is. It really is up to you, where you want to put your turtle. And of course, the Spinosaurus is absolutely awesome. Such a really cool, really dynamic pose taking place here. Really nice looking pose as a whole, and definitely different from many other Spinosaurus models I have in my collection. And the fact that it's kind of interacting with everything in the scene is also really cool. Like, you have the fish swimming away, you have the Carcharodontosaurus being startled, you also have, of course, the Spinosaurus kind of being startled, the turtle in between not really knowing what to do. It's just a really cool scene, and Passion Charger has sculpted the Spinosaurus out as far as the detailing aspect goes perfectly, and just really captured an amazing moment in time right here between two different very large dinosaurs. So if you are interested in picking one of these up for yourself, I will include a link in the description to where you can contact Passion Charger on Facebook, or of course you could contact me if you do not have social media and I can contact him for you, or you can also purchase Passion Charger models on Dan's Dinosaurs. That's always an option as well. So one way or another, definitely check the links in the description. Go grab this amazing model from Passion Charger, and also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.